research in the San Francisco Bay Area of California in the United States of America. And these are my colleagues.
My name is Pierre. I'm from Miscanthus and I do Miscanthus on research.
I am Olga Kuruzchev and I'm from University of Moscow. And together we are the Coalition for Miscanthus. We want to start large-scale field trials for use of Miscanthus giganteus as biofuel. And that is why we are making a presentation for you today.
Go.
And now we will talk about the facts. Miscanthus was first cultivated in Europe in the 1930s, brought in from Japan. Nationally funded by Denmark, Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and France. It is support for research on propagation and establishment, for management practices, harvesting and handling of Miscanthus.
It is a C4 plant, which means it is very efficient at converting sunlight into biomass, with low water and a few inputs. It is also fast-growing and more productive than corn.
Miscanthus, not being a food crop, means that we don't have to worry about the fluctuation in prices, unlike its counterpart in the biomass industry, corn.
And like I said, it is more productive. Corn produces 7.6.
Let me show them.
In a graph. It produces 7.6 tons per acre of biomass and 756 gallons of ethanol. On the other hand, Miscanthus produces 20 tons per acre and 3,250 gallons of ethanol.
Field trials have been established throughout Europe. It uses existing equipment in agriculture, and low fertilizer and pesticide use make it a relatively benign crop environmentally.
It also has a low mineral content, which makes it burn cleaner. It is carbon neutral, meaning that the amount of carbon dioxide it emits when it burns is equal to the amount that it sequesters when it grows.
Not only is research being conducted across the world, as we can see by my counterparts here at the Coalition for Miscanthus, but it's also being researched across the United States in places such as the University of Illinois, the University of Mississippi, and the University of Georgia. Research shows that it's a sterile AAA plant, which means it propagates using rhizomes, so that it won't invade any areas that we planted. So, Bill and Melinda, now that we've given you some background information, let us take you deeper into the world of Giganteus miscanthus and show you why it is a viable solution to the world energy crisis and why it is a smart solution that your company should invest in. How about it, Pierre?
Here to provide some insight on the implication, potential effects on increased biofuel production in the United States. About 360 million dry tons of sustainably removable biomass can be produced on forested lands, according to a research done by Oak Ridge National Laboratory. The United States can produce enough biomass annually to replace more than 1/3 of its current oil consumption, while continuing to meet demands for food, feed, and exports. The United States now plants currently 1/3 of its U.S. farm acres for export uses, and these could be devoted as a use for domestic fuel production. Now let me address some of the economic questions relating to biofuels. Use of biomass for energy worsen world hunger. Many experts believe this new demand for agricultural products could actually help ease hunger. Hunger is caused more by a lack of money or distribution than a lack of food. While there is arguably more food per capita being produced in today's world than ever before, hunger and poverty are growing. Over the past 35 years, per capita food production has grown 16% faster than population. Even so, the number of hungry people in every country except for China has increased by an average of 11% over the last 40 years, according to a research done by the Center of American Progress. In Africa, agriculture employs nearly 2/3 of labor force and accounts for 37% of the gross national product, and is responsible for over half of Africa's exports. Yet this sector generates insufficient wealth among the rural poor to adequately address hunger. Biofuels can help change all that. In many developing countries, agriculture productivity is held back by a lack of access to fertilizer and equipment. Biofuels such as Miscanthus could help attract investments such as your own that would help support agriculture improvements across the board. This would help benefit food production, accelerate rural economic development, and alleviate poverty and migration to the cities. Ultimately, higher world crop prices will support better farm income. The economic benefits of processing agricultural products into ethanol and biodiesel will provide additional value for rural America. Increasing ethanol productions from today's level of 4 billion gallons a year to 50 billion gallons annually will require construction of nearly 1,000 new production facilities, according to the University of Tennessee. Because biomass is relatively lightweight and bulky, it is thus costly to transport, meaning that these facilities must be built close to where the feedstock is harvested, contributing to rural development. Conventional dry milled corn converted into ethanol production facilities cost an average of $1.40 per gallon. Cellulosic crops are expected to be several times more expensive than corn. This suggests that a capital investment of nearly $100 billion nationwide will be required. This is an obstacle that will need to be dealt with when considering investments into Miscanthus as a viable, widespread biofuel.
Miscanthus is like the answer to our problems. We're destroying the world with fossil fuels, and Miscanthus is a renewable resource, and it uses less chemical inputs than other biofuel crops, so there's less pollution. And it would reduce our dependence on foreign oil, so we could stop war in the Middle East. And it can be grown on marginal land, so it won't compete with food crops, and we can still work to fight world hunger. Basically, we owe it to Mother Earth to do large field trials with Miscanthus.
Hi, my name is Deborah Larson. I'm a student at the University of Illinois studying agricultural, consumer, and environmental sciences. I'd like to go over the basic differences in the anatomy of both corn and Miscanthus and how it affects their abilities to produce enough biomass annually for the production of ethanol. Miscanthus over here is a perennial, meaning it does not need to be recultivated from seed from year to year. This is because of its specialized root system called rhizomes, which allow it to reemerge annually for up to 20 years. Corn, on the other hand, is an annual plant, meaning it only survives for one growing season and must be regrown from seed to produce the following year's crop. Another difference between the two is how they synthesize nitrogen. Miscanthus has a high nitrogen efficiency use that allows it to grow vigorously without fertilizer for up to 3 to 4 years. Another perk of this is that it can decrease the amount of nitrogen runoff, which pollutes our air, water, and soil. In comparison, corn requires periodical applications of fertilizer, and along with most crops, uses only half of the nitrogen for growth, leaving the rest to leach into the soil, air, and water. Nitrogen runoff accounts for up to 1/3 of greenhouse gases produced by agriculture, and if we cultivate Miscanthus for ethanol production, we not only can successfully produce an alternative source of fuel, but we can also decrease the amount of byproducts released into the environment. Now that we've gotten a closer look at miscanthus and corn, let's see what the farmers think about growing miscanthus and corn in the fields.
Fancy meeting you guys here. My name's Bill. Let me tell you a little something about farming. Walk with me. These lands here, been in my family for years. My daddy taught me how to farm. His daddy taught him how to farm. It's what I do. I'm a farmer. Problem is, around these here parts, the land is not too good. So I can't grow too much on it. The corn won't grow, nothing else I want to grow will grow on it. So that's a problem. You're not making any profit out of something that you can't grow anything on, right? You're right. So, I've been to thinking, you know, what kind of crop can I get some kind of profit out of that the world wants and that I need to grow that can make me money? One simple solution. Let me tell you about it. Gigantic miscanthus. Tell you one thing, you plant it using rhizomes. What are rhizomes, you might ask? Let me tell you about that too. Rhizomes are little seeds you put in the ground. They're gonna grow up, but it's gonna take about 3 years. 3 years, you might say, is a long time. No, says I. Let me tell you why. 3 years, it'll grow up. It'll grow over 10 feet tall. That's 2 of me. And it'll grow for 30 years. 30 years is a long time too. Shoot, I'm not even 30. So, I said, well, that's a good start, right? So I started planting Gigantus miscanthus. Not only did I plant it in my good fields, I only used a little bit of fertilizer and just a little bit of herbicides, and it sprouted out of the ground like nobody's business. And then I thought, hey, I've got these really bad marginal fields, why don't we try it on there? So I did. You're not gonna believe it. It grew right out of the ground like it was a miracle. So here's the thing, Gigantus miscanthus, it's the perfect solution to my problem. I've got land I can't use. But now Gigantus miscanthus is here, it's perfect. I can use it all over the place. I got all these fields, and that's money for me. And it's not gonna affect the food crop for the rest of the world because I'm not gonna be using any fields that I'm using for corn and things like that people are gonna eat for Gigantus miscanthus. So it's a win-win situation, right? You're right. You're probably thinking, hey man, this is perfect. Well, guess what it is? Because it's Gigantus miscanthus. Come over here to my adjacent field, like I like to call it. It's not growing anything. Got a few willow oaks sitting around the edge. That's about it. Nothing on there. This right here, all this, is just dirt and grass. Nothing will grow here, but here's the thing. All this land I got laying around, not doing anything, I don't have any pretty ladies sunbathing on it, so it's got no use to me, right? Here's the thing. I plant Gigantus miscanthus all over this, and I'm in business, all right? I am in business. So, Bill and Melinda, that's my pitch for you. Gigantus miscanthus. Large field tests, make me money, make the world happy. That's what I'm all about. This is Bill, signing off.
So, Bill and Melinda, now that you have the facts, you're probably thinking, what's this all for? Well, let us tell you.
We will invest in research and production facilities.
We need program fundings to inform the public and farmers of the positive aspects of miscanthus.
In conclusion, it is good for the environment, society, and the economy.
Not only for America, but for the world. We're asking you, Bill and Melinda Gates, to invest in this product. We've given you the facts. We've explained it all pretty thoroughly. It's up to you. Are you ready to make this world a better place?